When we talk about fasteners, we're really talking about taking two things and putting them together. And there's a few ways that we do that. One is we take one part and we put a clearance hole so the fastener passes through it. And then in the other part, we thread it. When the fastener goes in, it tightens down and squeezes the two parts together. Another thing we do is we put a clearance hole in both of the parts. The fastener passes all the way through. We put a nut on the bottom. And then another way is we put a stud in the threaded part. It sticks up, goes through the other part which has a clearance hole. We put a nut on it, and again, the fastener squeezes them together. But whatever way we do it, we have to determine what size to drill the holes. Now, the threaded hole, that's pretty straightforward. We find a chart like this. So if we have a 1024, we find it, we look over, and it tells us to get a number 25 bit, and that's the size hole that we get. Now, the clearance holes are a little harder. So if we have a 1/4-inch fastener, can I just drill a 1/4-inch hole? No, you can't. It's going to be too tight. Like with lots of things with engineering, there's standards for the fit. Now, this is a great site. You can see the reference right down here. I encourage you to go to that website. What he's done here, he's taken the ASME standard. There are a lot of different types of fits defined, and he's summarized it in 3 fits, a normal, a close, and a loose. And so what you do is you find your fastener size. There's the nominal size. And then it tells you whether you want a normal, a close, or a loose fit, what size to drill the hole. And so what I did to kind of help with this is I made a part. I have a 1/4-inch 20 fastener, and I looked up the normal, the close, and the loose fit, and I drilled holes in this so you could kind of see how it works. And I'm going to show you that. But first, let me show you, let's just say just for the normal. I look down, and the normal is 0.281. Then what I have to do is find out what size bit to use. I come back to this chart. I find 281, and I need to use a K. If you say, well, I don't have letter bit sizes, well, then you're either going to have to use a 9/32 or a 17/64. That's the only choice you have. I did have, so I drilled a K in it. And what I want to do is, in the video, show you what these parts really look like with that kind of fit on it to give you an idea of what those fits really mean. First of all, if I pick it up, see, they all fall except the nominal. The nominal is really tight. And so, like, if this part was metal instead of plastic, it's very possible as you're forcing that in, you damage the threads. So that's why the nominal hole size for a nominal size is gonna be super, super tight, and that's why there's this normal, so you have a clearance. So you see the normal, I've got a little bit of wiggle. Look at the loose. There's a whole lot of wiggle. I'm gonna move it back and forth. You should be able to see that in there. And if I push all these through and hold this up close with them down, you might be able to see the difference in gap there. You see the far right, the loose, there's a big gap. The far left, the nominal, you don't see much. The normal, you see a little bit, and the close, you see a little bit. It's hard to tell the difference between the normal and the close just with the gap. Okay, and then I did the same thing with our spinner here. So on this side, here's the nominal, and then down below it, there's the loose. So the same thing, if I look at the nominal, then there's very little play. If I look at the loose, you can see there's a lot of play in that spinner. And when I spin it, this one goes okay. It's a little tight. You see how it stopped? The loose, see how it wobbles a lot. There's so much it wobbles. Over on this side, on the top, I've got close, and on the bottom, I have the normal. And so now I run the close, and you see there's not a lot of wobble. It goes pretty nicely. And then on the bottom, I have the normal, and it goes pretty good, but even the normal, there's a little bit of wobble. And so that's why for something like this, like with a shoulder bolt, you're probably going to use the close because you want that nice tight fit for that thing to roll in there. Okay, so that's the fits and how they kind of play out in real parts.